Chris Rubish. I'm a registered nurse and I'm president of the Minnesota Nurses Association. I'm here today with some of my coworkers from the Essentia Health Duluth Clinics, Ambulatory Surgery Center, and Hospice House, who are going to be talking to you today about why they're here conducting this unfair labor practice strike and what they hope Essentia Health takes away to help them get a fair contract and get back to work caring for the patients that they care about so deeply, and get back to the work that really is the center of their concern. So first I would like to turn it over to my coworker Shantel Woolen, who's an RN at the 3rd Street Clinic, to talk to you about what she and her coworkers are facing. Shantel.
Good morning. My name is Shantel Woolen, and I'm a registered nurse in the Ambulatory Neurology Clinic in the 3rd Street Clinic building, where I serve as both a triage RN and the ALS clinic coordinator. I am proud of the work we do in our specialty clinics, work that is built on advanced knowledge, deep compassion, and consistent patient care. As a triage RN, my responsibilities include evaluating and managing urgent neurological symptoms, offering real-time clinical judgment, and prioritize patient needs and ensuring timely, appropriate interventions. Through our online patient portal, I respond daily to a wide range of questions and concerns, helping patients manage complex and often life-threatening neurological conditions. In my role as an ALS clinic coordinator, I am responsible for organizing multidisciplinary clinics, assisting with medication and equipment orders, and helping patients and families navigate the progression of ALS with dignity, clarity, and support. I work closely with providers to keep our clinic operations running smoothly while ensuring every patient receives specialized care they deserve. But today, I'm speaking not only as a nurse, but as an advocate for both my colleagues and our patients. We can't negotiate a fair contract when our employer commits ULPs, so we have made the difficult decision to go on strike to protest Essentia's ULPs. We have important issues to tackle. Our hope is that Essentia will stop their ULPs and work together to find solutions that are beneficial to nurses and patients. Specialty care is not something that can be improvised. Our clinics are highly specific, and our patients often deal with intricate, progressive conditions that demand experienced, well-trained staff. Despite the specific training required, Essentia is proposing cross-facility floating for nurses, one of the several issues we're seeking to address at the bargaining table. This means floating RNs who are unfamiliar with these patients or protocols could mean delays in care, missed warning signs, and increased distress for families already navigating difficult diagnoses. This practice threatens the very foundation of what makes our clinic safe, effective, and trusted. Nurses are not interchangeable parts. We are trained professionals with targeted expertise. Our patients rely on that consistency. We're not asking for special treatment. We're asking for respect, fairness, and the opportunity to continue providing the high-level care our patients deserve. We are demanding to have a voice in the decisions that affect our ability to provide the care we are trained to give and to protect our practice. The first step in this direction is for Essentia to stop committing ULPs. Today we are going out on a ULP strike because Essentia has chosen to ignore our legal right to bargain, to organize, and to advocate without fear. I urge Essentia leadership to recognize the real human impact of their decisions, not just on nurses, but on every patient and family who walks through our doors. Thank you. And next is Molly from 1st Street.
Good morning. Can you hear me? My name's Molly Swales, and I'm an infusion nurse at the 1st Street Clinic, and I love the nurses I work with. Patients notice. Every day, somebody says, wow, it seems like you guys have a really great team here. And I can wholeheartedly respond with a, yeah, we do. The nurses I work with make magic happen. Like Jessie. She has a way of talking to patients that makes them feel at home, like they're with a kind friend, even on their first day of chemotherapy. Ben's calming manner, which is punctuated with a very on-point sense of humor, is one of a kind. Patients don't forget him. Mel's energy is unmatched. She knows literally everyone, and she knows, well, pretty much everything. I've seen that inquisitive brain of hers save the day time and time again at the infusion center. I genuinely love these people. I respect them. I would trust any one of them with my life, as our patients do each and every day at the clinic. When you care about people this much, you notice when they're being treated poorly. Which brings me to why we're here today. We are striking because Essentia has committed illegal, unfair labor practices against nurses and many others. Since our ULP strike notice, my eyes have been opened even further to Essentia's unfair treatment of the clinic nurses I know and love. Last week, I stood by in desperation, watching as Essentia committed to pulling late-night bargaining sessions with Twin Ports hospital nurses, all the while ignoring pleas from clinic nurses, Miller Hill Surgery Center nurses, Solvay Hospice house staff, as well as the pleas of our amazing APPs for the same kind of urgent consideration. Maybe this is why I'm a nurse and was never cut out to be a CEO, but I literally cannot fathom why our employer would not want to make every effort to bargain in good faith here and now. Essentia, your clinic nurses are waiting on you to join us at the negotiating table. We refuse to let your actions divide us. We are strong because we care, respect, and support, and in many cases even love one another. We will work together, as only the best of teams knows how, to create more equitable work environments for ourselves, and our patients will reap the long-term benefits. Essentia, when will you choose to join us? And Kate is going to talk next.
Imagine this. Your 12-year-old is sick. It started off as a simple cold, and suddenly they began drinking an alarming amount of water, even wetting the bed. Strange, but you explain it away. Your crazy, energetic child starts to slow down, leaving them too exhausted for their highly anticipated soccer game. Weeks go by, and they aren't getting any better. Then they start throwing up, and then they have a hard time breathing. You rush them to the hospital, where they receive the diagnosis of type 1 diabetes. While the hospital's dedicated nurses expertly stabilize their life-threatening diabetic ketoacidosis, you start to think, what comes next? Your child now faces a lifelong condition, demanding a minimum of 5 finger pokes and 6 insulin injections a day, every day, for the rest of their life. Who will you turn to for support? How do you keep them out of the hospital? How do you even begin to reclaim a sense of normalcy? Who teaches you to become, in essence, a pancreas for your child? Who guides you through the emotional turmoil of a lifelong diagnosis? The answer, the human link, is clinic diabetes educators. My name is Kate Mathewson, and I am a clinic diabetes educator. I am a nurse in the Diabetes and Endocrinology Department at 2nd Street Clinic. The nurses at our clinic are highly specialized. Half of us dedicate ourselves to diabetes care, while the other half expertly navigate behavioral health, both incredibly nuanced fields. When patients come to our clinics, they expect to meet with somebody who deeply understands their complex conditions. When someone calls a suicide hotline, they desperately need to speak with someone who knows precisely how to help. We are specialized, we are experienced, and we deserve to be respected by Essentia Health as both nurses and experts in our field. For a year, we've sat across from Essentia at the negotiating table. We formed a union to protect the jobs that we love and to champion ambulatory clinic nursing. Clinic nurses deserve the same respect afforded to hospital nurses. Yet today we are forced out on a ULP strike due to Essentia Health's continued unfair labor practices and bad faith bargaining. They've repeatedly failed to provide information justifying their detrimental practices and have resorted to intimidation tactics at our workplace. Essentia claims that first contracts take 18 months to finalize, but we ask why. Since issuing our strike notice, we have offered to meet every single day, and Essentia has declined every single time, only offering 2 meetings this month. We are here demanding fair bargaining and for Essentia to respect our union. We're ready to get back to the table and get back to our patients, but that starts with Essentia showing up.
Some of what we're seeking in this contract, I'd say first and foremost, at least for the First Street nurses, I speak for the First Street nurses, we're looking for a confirmed work agreement. Many of us just want to know that the job we apply for is the job that we get to keep, and that if major aspects of that job change, that we have a say in the change. Essentia has also utterly mishandled our wages for many years, so we are looking for some serious transparency in our wages. We're hoping for some kind of grid. That's something we'd really hope for. Another thing we're fighting against is cross-facility floating. Basically, just a nurse is a nurse is a nurse and can be put anywhere. Doesn't matter the specialty, just can be used and transported any kind of place. So those are the kinds of things we're either fighting against or fighting for.
Can you talk about wage increases, like what percentage?
Percentages.
I would say as far as as far as percentage, we're really just looking. I took a $10 an hour pay cut 3.5 years ago to come from the hospital to the clinic. And as the hospital nurses continue to be respected and they continue to meet agreements and Essentia bargains with them, their wage continues to grow and grow. And so the cut to come to clinic nursing is getting worse. So we have 14%, 15%, not percent, dollars, $14 an hour pay cut to come to the clinic, $40 an hour pay cut for some of our nurses. And that's absurd. And so experienced nurses end up in the clinic. It's where a lot of us are. And we shouldn't have to take a $40 an hour pay cut to come from the hospital to the clinic. You want to be with people who are experienced, and that isn't doable for a lot of people. And so the opportunity for experience to go where it's focused, where they specialize, isn't there because they can't afford it. And so not just talking about percentages and general increases, we just want that giant gap to be smaller so we can get more nurses, we can have more experience, and it's more affordable to be an expert in your field.
So you're not seeking a wage increase?
We are seeking a wage increase. We are seeking a wage increase to help that gap. As the hospital nurses get paid more than we do, we are seeking a wage increase. I don't have specifics on the percentages, but the emphasis is to make that gap smaller.
How do you all feel about the picketing and the people that are showing up today and marching about for your cause?
I'm actually pretty excited. We've seen some of the hospital nurses come out after their overnight shifts to come and show solidarity. Of course, they're working again overnight, so they didn't stay super long, but we appreciate their support. I know we have 4 lines going right now, and so it's hard for us to see where they're at in Superior and up at the Miller Hill Clinic at the surgery center. But downtown, I think that we have a good turnout. I'm actually surprised with seeing some of the other support we've had from the community as well.
Any other questions? I just want to say one thing, speaking to what these nurses are seeking, and I think it's really important to highlight that Essentia Health is trying to divide us. They're trying to divide workers, divide healthcare workers, divide nurses, pit ambulatory hospital nurses against clinic nurses, advanced practitioners against providers and nurses, and that's just really a false narrative that I refuse to accept, that we refuse to accept. All of these healthcare workers are working with patients, delivering high-quality, world-class, safe patient care, and they all deserve the same things. A confirmed work agreement is a basic agreement that every other union employee for every other union specialty at Essentia has. The fact that Essentia is not willing to give that to these nurses is outrageous. The fact that our nurses and workers at the Solvay Hospice House are seeking 3 days of administrative leave if they experience workplace violence and they qualify for workers' comp. They're looking for 3 days to bridge them until workers' comp kicks in. Every hospital nurse has that. Why are the Solvay workers any less? Why do they deserve less? And that's why these workers are out here today, because they deserve the same treatment, the same benefits, the same respect and dignity that every other worker does here. So we really appreciate the support of the community and all of the workers here who recognize that.
And you guys might have already mentioned this before, but do we know any percentage of the people who are striking?
We don't have those figures right now. We know that we have, as has been said, 4 lines spread out throughout the city across 2 states, and we're really happy and appreciative of all the support from the workers and the community. Thank you.
Lauren, my last name is spelled wrong. So.